Easier said than done, right? Well, not so much. Self-doubt destroys more dreams than failure will ever do. And guess what? It's felt by everyone, as we are all humans. So today I'm going to teach you 7 tricks to beat your self-doubts, because I believe you deserve to live your life at its full potential. So first off, we're going to look at what is self-doubt and where it's coming from, and then how to handle it. And for this, I'm going to teach you actual exercises that you have to do. Because doing a pep talk telling you, yeah, you are amazing, you can do it, will not change anything. I'm just a stranger on the internet. I know freaking nothing about yourself. Self-doubt is a creation of yourself. The only one who has power over it and who can beat it is you. The first thing you need to understand is that self-doubt is just a symptom. It's part of a bigger scheme. Self-doubt is the mental representation of your fears, your insecurities, your anxiety, and all those things come from one origin, which is lack of self-confidence. And when you understand that, you understand that it's actually much easier to handle your self-doubt than what you previously thought, because they are just symptoms. Today we're not looking at how to get rid of self-doubting. This would mean increasing your self-confidence. It takes a long time and a lot of work. No, today we are looking at how to handle them when you feel them. Just compare this to a regular disease. When you get the flu, you need to rest, you need medicines, you need antibiotics. Sometimes it's even harder to get out of it. But the flu comes with symptoms. For example, you cough. And that, a tea with honey, and you're good to go. Well, self-doubt is exactly the cough of your lack of self-confidence. So now that we are on the same page, my number 1 tip is going to try to understand your doubt and doubt it. Doubt is nothing but the representation of your fears. It happens when it matters to you. For example, you can doubt when you have a presentation and you really want this good grade, or you apply to a new job, or just you want to go speak to your crush. Basically, it happens when you feel there's a risk. It happens when you feel you have something to lose. And the funny yet vicious thing about doubts is that most of the time, you believe them. So you believe your doubts, but doubts what you should believe. What makes the doubts so awful is that we have confidence in them. When we doubt about something, we truly believe we are unable to achieve the thing. But the truth is, it is just fear. When you live with your doubts, you live with your fear. So doubt them, question them, question the impact of the doubts, its origins. Why is it here? Do you have the control over the situation, or can I control it? Or not? Those are the questions you should ask yourself. So let's return to the previous examples. The presentation. Why is it here? I didn't work enough. Okay? So, do you have control over it? Meaning, do you have time to work more? Yes! Well, work more and eliminate the doubt. No! Well, you're kinda screwed. But you know it, because you didn't work for it. So adding a dose of doubts and stress over it just means that you will get through the situation a second time. And if you did work enough, well, there's no point doubting. Because you worked enough. You know your subject. So it's going to work. So look at this and understand that you need to break your confidence in your doubts and start doubting them. Number 2, feel the fear, but still go for it. We all feel fear of rejection, humiliation, failure. I feel fear on a daily basis at work. I feel fear on a weekly basis with YouTube. Every single time I upload a video, I feel fear. I feel fear you guys will not like the video. I feel fear you will think this video is shit and that you will crucify me in the comments. But I still do it. And the difference between people who are successful and people who just get held back by their fears is the willingness to act. It might sound stupid, but if you don't play, you can't win. Face your fears and beat them! It's never as bad as what you previously thought. Actually, it's even quite liberating. Facing your fears will make you grow. Even worse, actually, inaction is what fuels fear and doubts. Acting is what creates this burst of courage and confidence. Number 3, take a no excuse approach. I know, you don't call them excuses, you call them reasons. That's exactly the same. Reasons are most of the time part of the past, while doubt is about the future. Which means that when you're using reasons, you are using your past to direct your future. Which is not the way it should be. You should focus on the actual to make sure your future will be the way you want it to be. Not use the past to predict it. So get rid of the reasons and actually work for it to be the way you want it to be. Okay, number 4. Now we are looking at really what you can do to get rid of the feeling of doubt. And the first and best exercise to do is to actually exercise. Exercising not only releases dopamine, which makes you feel better, but also allows you to vent, allows you to push all your negative emotions outside of your body. It's one of the best catharsis. Also, it keeps you busy, body and mind. And when your mind is busy, well, it cannot doubt, because it's already doing something else. Our mind is simple. Our mind cannot do that many tricks at the same time. It can actually only do 2 or 3. But when you are actually exercising, you are using all your muscles, so you need to be focused on everything you're doing, meaning that your mind cannot look at what you're doubting about, thus making you feel much better. If this still doesn't wipe out your doubts, you have something else to do, which is change your environment. Most of the time, doubts are linked to a situation, to an environment, to a person. Just get rid of what fuels the doubts. I know, it doesn't always work. In the case of a presentation, for example, you can't really just say, oh yeah, that's the situation, I will just not do it. I mean, that would be great, but you can't. However, what you can do is surround yourself with people who are working for their presentation. Surround yourself with positivity that is linked to the thing you're doubting about. The environment is key to progress or, well, failure. Being surrounded by negativity is the best way to become negative. Being surrounded by positivity makes you progress and makes you self-doubt less, because you will look at it with the positive aspect. You will look at the situation and say, oh, if I succeed, that will be great, rather than looking at it saying, oh, if I fail, that will be bad. Now we're going to the penultimate trick, and that's the fact to embody the removal of your bad feelings. What do I mean by that? Well, basically, when you are self-doubting, that means that your unconscious state is speaking to your conscious state. The conscious state is easy to handle. You just speak to yourself and it works because there's a direct connection. The conscious state is yourself right now. So if it was purely conscious, you'd be like, no man, it's going to be okay. And your brain will be like, yeah, you're right, it's going to be okay. Awesome. But here, it's unconscious. So when you'll be like, no, it's going to be okay, brain, and the brain will be like, yeah, it's going to be okay, the unconscious will be like, what? It will just not understand it and will bombard you with all the possible ways it will not be okay. However, your unconscious state understands actions. So one of the best way to make your unconscious state to understand that your self-doubts need to be removed is to actually physically remove them for it. So how to do this? Well, that's pretty simple. Do it literally. Write all your self-doubts on a word or on a piece of paper, and then delete the file. Burn the piece of paper. Show your unconscious state the action of getting rid of those self-doubts. Those self-doubts no longer exist, and this will help you to move forward. Okay, now we're going to go to my last advice, and it's pretty easy. You're going to die. I know, that's brutal, but that's the truth. You are going to die. Nobody escapes life, but with death. Most of us live our lives thinking what's the worst that can happen, and doubts are created because of that. They are the product of our fears. So when you're facing a situation and think, what is the worst that can happen in this situation? You are creating fear and creating doubts. But the worst thing that can happen is the fact that you're going to die. And you're going to die anyway. And when you understand that, you change your perspective. You change the way you're looking at your life. And you start looking at your life not by thinking what's the worst that can happen, because you already know what's the worst that can happen. No, you look at it being like, what's the best that can happen? And that's a very liberating feeling, because when you will embrace the fact that you're only here from point A to point B, that's when you will start looking at this line and being like, okay, how can I make sure that this is going to be the best? Rather than being like, how can I make sure it will not go down a little sometimes? And that's when you will stop giving importance to your doubts and start living your life at its full potential. Thank you so much for staying on the video until now. If you're new, welcome to the family. If you're an oldie but a goodie, well, thank you for staying here despite the changes on the channel. So from now on, here's how the channel is going to work. 1 week out of 2, a coaching kinda / human behavior video. And the other, a French video that will be more light-hearted, funny. I mean, the same video as I used to do. And because I don't want to change everything, I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to put a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to my channel. Go follow me on all my social medias because, well, as usual, I don't know what to say with that. You can also support me on Patreon, but I don't know what to say with that either. And no matter what happens, I will see you in my next video. Have an amazing, wonderful day. Don't forget to smile and live your life at its full potential.